Hello there, welcome back to my channel. Have you ever looked at an eyeshadow palette or a lipstick and instantly you were drawn in and you just knew you were going to love it? Well, that is what we're going to be talking about today. I thought since February is the month of love because of Valentine's Day, I just thought it would be fun to sit down and pull out of my collection those products that I fell in love with the first moment I saw them. And then once I tried them, that love just continued running strong. Now, as many of you know, my collection is massive. And even as I was going through trying to pull out the things that I fell in love with or thought I loved the first time I saw them or tried them, that pile was still getting too big. So I made myself narrow it down to 10 cheek products, 10 lip products, and 10 eyeshadow palettes. Now, as we jump into the first category, cheek products, I'll give you a fair warning. There are a few products that were limited edition or were discontinued, but I tried to limit that down to just a couple, but I wanted to share them with you just because they were so amazing. And a couple of these, it's possible the brand could bring them back, or you may still be able to dig around on the internet and find them available still. So first product I'm going to talk about, I've had a long time love affair with from the first time I tried it, but that is the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. This is the original bronzer shade, but I do have this in several other shades as well. Not only was I intrigued by how smooth and buttery it was, but by the scent. And literally the first time I put this on my cheeks, I know it looks like nothing here, but this was one, the first time I put it on, I thought it's like magic. It gave my cheeks that healthy glow, but there was no chunky glitter. Absolutely loved it and still do. The next product is one of those that has been discontinued, and I just hope that Too Faced will bring it back, but it is the Sweetie Pie Bronzer. Oh my goodness. I loved the packaging, so from the get-go, I thought this is beautiful. I opened it up and I loved the look of the combination of these colors, but once I swirled my brush in and put them on my cheeks, I could not believe what a beautiful pinky, browny, glowy color came off. And it was just like blush, highlighter, bronzer all in one, and somehow it worked. I have a very healthy dent in this. I'm using it sparingly because I know I can't get it anymore, but this was definitely one of those wonderful products that I hope gets brought back someday. Next is the Laura Geller Blush-n-Brighten, and specifically this color combination. This is Tropic Hues. Now, if you're not familiar with these baked blushes, everyone has kind of a different swirl pattern and everything, but this color combination, from the first time I saw it, I said, I've got to put that on my cheeks. And it did not disappoint. Again, it has a little bit of a glow. I think we're going to be seeing themes as we go through each of these categories, but it has the most beautiful combination of pink and peach and that little bit kind of reddish burgundy running through there. And then just those hints of some pearl finish. It gives it that nice glow. Just amazing blush. Another blush that reeled me in just from the sight of it, and I said, I gotta try that, was this one from Winky Luxe. This is that one that is literally a 3D rose with its own little container. It looks just beautiful. I didn't even want to use it because it was so pretty, but when I swatched it and felt how buttery smooth it was and saw this beautiful color, I thought, yeah, this is love. And this specific shade that I have is called Crown. I think it only comes in maybe 4 shades. But again, I mean, the packaging and just the way that they spent the time and care to make this look like a real rose is so amazing. All right, the next limited edition product that I don't know that you can still get, but this I pulled out of the package, and before I even opened it, I just fell in love with this matte finish, super heavy duty weight of the package. And I thought, oh, the first time we're not getting fingerprints all over. I loved the marble effect. And then I opened it up and I just thought that these colors were perfect. Now this is the Hourglass Universe Lighting Edit palette. This was this last year, so 2021, the holiday edition. And they do release these every year, some version of a palette. So in case they might eventually bring back something very similar, keep your eye out for it. But I just have found every single color in this face palette, which is unusual for me. I have a couple of palettes from Hourglass, and this is the one by far that I have used the most, and I've only had it for a couple months. I have a couple of highlighters, just two. This was really hard for me. But I went to one of the very first highlighters I ever bought, and it was somebody on YouTube who made me buy it. And I still love it to this day. I actually have purchased a new one. It is the Balm's Merry Luminizer. And just from the packaging, it made me fall in love with Balm Cosmetics products because they put the cutest things and just detail into all of their packaging. But then their products are really wonderful too. And this highlighter is buttery soft and so pigmented, and yet there's no chunky glitter particles or anything. And what I also love is most of the Balm's cheek products are also formulated to use on the eyes. So this has also become one of my favorites to use as an inner corner highlight. So Merry Luminizer from the Balm, still love it. And the second highlighter that I fell in love with, and this was literally, I think, my second highlighter purchase. I saved up my money, and it was the BECCA Opal highlighter. And this was called the Skin Perfector, Shimmering Skin Perfector. And I know Smashbox bought out BECCA, and they're doing a couple of BECCA products still, and I can't remember if this particular shade has been included, but Opal was one of the iconic shades, and it is still a love of mine. But the first time I ever swatched it, put it on my hand, I thought, oh wow, that is so pretty. It's brightening and glowy, and yet it's not chunky glitter. I mean, just look at that. It's so, so pretty. All right, this next product did not draw me in by the packaging, but it was by the color and the way this looked on my skin. Oh my goodness. So this is one of the Daniel Sandler watercolor blushes. I loved that it is literally like a watercolor, and this particular shade is Golden Glow, and it just gives such a beautiful color and glow to the skin. And in fact, I feel like this is the liquid version of the Sweetie Pie bronzer. So that tells you why I immediately fell in love with it. But one drop, you can see one drop goes so far. And the trick to using these is you just need to use a fluffy brush. I love this one by Luxe. You put it on the back of your hand, then swirl your brush in there, then put it on the cheeks, and it's so easy to apply. I feel like it makes your skin just look healthy and glowy, and it stays put well throughout the day. This next product was sent to me from ILIA, and it is their multi-use multi-stick. And I remember I was in my kitchen when I opened this up, because I had opened up my mail in there, and I looked at this color and I thought, oh my goodness, that is so pretty. On camera, it's looking a little more reddish than it is, but this is the most beautiful burnt orange color I have ever seen. And it is literally the only blush I have in this color. It's so, so pretty. And it just melts right into the skin. I find this super easy to use, but the color was just, oh, I absolutely love it. And the final one, you've heard me talk about this and use it several times, and it goes in and out of stock because of its popularity, but it is the Charlotte Tilbury Glow, what is this? Beauty Light Wand High Blush. I never ever remember that name. And this is the pink shade. I recently also picked up the peach shade, but the pink is by far my favorite. And this, I was thinking, I'm not gonna like it. And then I dabbed it on my skin and I thought, wait, what? And as I blended it out, it became the most beautiful, glowy pink blush. And this works on my cheeks, even though I have some texture on my cheeks. There's just something about this formula. It makes your cheeks look glowy and healthy without highlighting texture. And this color is my color of pink to a T. So definitely one that was love at first sight. Now let's do lips next, because normally in videos, you know, the lip application gets put to the end. So let's go ahead and put this in here now. And I narrowed down this category as well to just lipsticks and lip glosses. Let's kick it off right away with the first two colors of lipstick that are discontinued. Let's just get these right out of the way. So MAC lipsticks are some of my all-time favorite formulations. Now, they do have different formulas within their lipstick line. So you got cream and frost and amplified and matte and all of those. But I wanted to go through and just pick out my favorite colors. And these were ones that immediately, the first time I saw them and swatched them on my hand, I didn't even have to put them on my lips to know I was going to love them. So this first one that's been discontinued is Hades Fire. And I try not to use this much in videos, but this is one that I love, particularly in the winter time. And I think you're gonna see a theme with these lipsticks of some characteristic that I love in them all. So let's see if you can pick up on that. But this is a beautiful burgundy plum shade, and then it has lots of sparkle in it. And it makes the color kind of shift. Absolutely love it. Hope MAC brings it back. The other one that I would love MAC to bring back was from this, I think it was the Bronze collection, and this is the shade à la Plage, which means to the beach. Learned that little phrase of French there. And this color, again, I looked at it in the bullet and I thought, oh, that's gonna be good. And then I swatched it. This is definitely a lot lighter than this one, but it has that wonderful kind of shimmer through it, but no glitter. So this one has a little bit of some glitter in it. This one has no glitter, but it's a wonderful kind of neutral nudie pink color. Oh, absolutely love it. MAC, bring it back. Now on to a couple of lipsticks that are still available. Hallelujah. This next one is one that you can tell I've loved and I already have a backup of. And this shade is Fabby, and it is fabulous. I think that's short for fabulous, don't you? So this is a more cool tone pink, but again, this has a frost finish, which is what MAC would call it. No chunky glitter in this, but it's the most beautiful pink. I love to pair this with all different colors of lip liners, glosses. It is my go-to when I'm going to wear pink of any kind. The next color is actually what I am wearing, plus a lip liner and a gloss, and that is Plum Dandy. Oh my goodness. This shade you would kind of think might be a little too bright, but because it has that frost finish, it is so forgiving, and I feel like it works on so many different skin tones. And I love to pair this one. This one's another one that goes with so many different lip liners. I have it on today with the Smashbox Deep Mauve, and then a gloss, which I'll be talking about in a moment. This next lipstick I received as a gift from my best friend, and when I pulled it out, I just could not believe it. It was my very first Charlotte Tilbury product, and it is the lipstick in Pillow Talk. And this is my personal favorite, perfect nude pink color. It is more of a mid-tone, so it doesn't wash me out, but it is, on me, it looks more pink and a little bit cooler tone. Now my best friend, on her skin tone, this actually looks warmer. She has cooler skin tone, and so it actually looks more of a kind of peachier color. But for me, this is my perfect color. It smells good. Still one of my all-time favorites. Now these last two lipsticks are pretty new. This one's from BK Beauty, and I have a whole video of swatches review on the lipsticks and lip liners from this line. But when I pulled these out of the packaging, the weight of them, the color, just how the packaging was done, I knew I was gonna love whatever was inside. And then I opened it up, and this particular shade, which is Acceptance, my perfect neutral pink shade, and swatched next to Charlotte Tilbury, you're gonna see maybe a hint more pink. This is again one of those shades that looks different depending on your skin tone, but for me, this is my perfect nude pink shade. This has, as you can kind of see there on camera, a little more of a cooler pink. More pink comes through than Pillow Talk. But I love this. And the first time I put it on, it glided on so smoothly. I thought this is gonna be off in 2 seconds because it's too emollient. And it became one of the longest lasting cream formula lipsticks that I own. So definitely a love that is continuing strongly with this lipstick. And this last lipstick, I just got in last week in PR, and I just checked the Sephora website, and they have it on the website, but it is not stocked. So it says coming soon. So these are brand new. And when I opened up the package, okay, here's the box, and I should have had my camera going. As I pulled out the lipstick, I was like, wow, that is beautiful. And it is weighty, it's gorgeous. And I thought, okay, I'm sure I'm gonna love this, right? Now I have 2 shades in this, and this particular shade is Baby. And again, that nude pink shade, see, I'm telling you, there's a theme here. There's 2 themes, we'll get to that. But this next to Acceptance, so this has just a slightly bit more neutrality to it, but the texture on this is incredible. It glides on smoothly, but it is not at all slippery. It stays in place really well for a long period of time. This has no scent, so if you're scent sensitive, that's a good thing. But the formula, the color, the packaging, in fact, I pulled this out of my purse to use at a ladies' luncheon over the weekend, and the ladies immediately noticed it. They said, what is that? What kind of lipstick is that? So well done on the packaging, but also even better on the formulation of these lipsticks. All right, now I'm gonna go through these glosses rather quickly because I think you'll see a theme as well. So the first one should come as no surprise, but this is the Huda Beauty Lip Strobe in the shade Angelic. I have this in a couple of other shades, but this shade is like no other. It is what I topped Plum Dandy with today. It is pink and gold. And what I love is it is a very dense, opaque formulation. Dense is probably the wrong word. Opaque formulation. So when you put it on, you're not just seeing clear gloss. It's actually helping to change slightly the color underneath. And I just love the frost, the glow. Oh, love everything about it, and the smell is wonderful too. This next gloss is similar in the opaque factor, and I love to use it on top of lipsticks. And you've seen this, you know this well. This is the Smashbox Petal Metal gloss. I think they actually call this liquid lip, but it's a gloss. It doesn't dry down or anything, but look at that. And this has more of a rose gold color. It's got so much shine, it's hard to see the color. There you go. But this, again, I love to put on top of lipsticks, tones down bright lipsticks. But one of those that when I saw it in the package, I thought, that's gotta come home with me. This next one I thought had been discontinued, and recently I saw an ad for this company and they have this color back in stock. They've just repackaged it. So this is the old packaging, but this is Dose of Colors jazzy. Oh my goodness. And I know several of you have tried this and you fell in love with it too. And this is kind of like Petal Metal next to it, but this has a little bit of translucency and it has more sparkle. These two don't have any sparkle. This has tons of sparkle. It makes your lips just glow and look so pretty and multi-dimensional. I mean, just look at that shimmer. I mean, how can you not fall in love with that, right? And the last one, again, taken in with the shimmer, and this has been a long time love. And I found this, I would say it was one of the very first that I purchased from this brand. And it is the Buxom Lip Polish in the shade Celeste. I have owned probably at least half of the shades that they have. You know, they've got well over 100 shades. Yes, I've been using these for years. But this particular shade, I think this is at least the third repurchase for me. And the first time I ever tried it, I mean, the shimmer in here was what prompted me to buy it. And then I tried it on my hand and I thought, wait, there are all kinds of colors shifting in there. And then I put it on my lips. And this is one that looks beautiful just on bare lips. It kind of creates this almost a little bit of a holographic color. I know that sounds scary, but I promise it's beautiful. It has kind of pink and gold and silver glitter particles. It's just so beautiful and it makes your natural lips look like you're wearing multiple colors on there. So a long time love for sure. All right, the last category, eyeshadow palettes. And yes, this was really hard for me, but I did narrow it down to 10 with one honorary mention. Let's get that one right out of the way. And this one was definitely the packaging that I just said, I don't even have to see what's inside. I know it's gonna be beautiful. This is the Tarte Aspyn Ovard palette. It was limited edition years ago. But this is one I will keep even long past its expiration just to sit out on my vanity because it's the most beautiful palette I own. And the colors inside are very neutral and kind of unassuming, but these have been staples. I mean, inner corner highlight shades, all that. Yeah. I said I wasn't going to go into too much detail, but there you go. That is one of my absolute favorites. So now for our first real palette in this category, I'm going to show you a non-neutral palette first, and that is the Violet Voss All of You Forever. I did a whole video on this with a tutorial and everything. I'll link it down below. But this came in a BoxyCharm box, and there was something about this palette. When I opened it up, I thought, I know there's greens in here, but I love this color story. And once I used it, I show you in that video using it the first time, I continued to use this nonstop for several weeks. I just fell in love with it. It's versatile. Those little bits of green, I feel like the shades they chose in this palette are wonderful. I don't know. Everything about this palette, though, I have really loved. This next palette is kind of a recent love, a recent find. And not only is the outer packaging beautiful, but when I opened up this palette, I gasped and said, oh my goodness, I love those colors. They are beautiful. And this is one I feel like showing it on camera doesn't even do it justice. My friend who was here visiting recently, she picked this palette out to buy for her birthday with her Ulta gift points, and she fell in love with it as well. When she saw it, she's like, ooh, that's really pretty. And it's just one of those palettes that even though there's a lot of neutral tones in here, there's enough rosy tones to keep this girl happy, but everything in here is just so pretty, the finishes, and I have really enjoyed the looks that I create with that one. Now, similar color story, but a much smaller palette was the Natasha Denona Mini Love palette when this came out a year ago. She's come out with the Crush palette, also love that one, but this one from the beginning, when I saw this, I went, yes, that is my color story. and it has not disappointed. In fact, this shade right here, I'm about to hit pan on. I hope she makes that into a single. I absolutely love that, but everything works together. I use this so often. Absolute love. The next palette, similar color story. I know, I promise there are some others, but is the Lawless, the baby one. Again, I really like the size of this palette. And when I saw the colors inside, I just immediately thought, these are my kinds of colors. I could think of several looks and color combinations with what was in here. I loved that there were just 2 shimmers and 6 mattes that actually all look distinctly different. That's really hard to do when you get into some of these plum shades, but they're all slightly different tones. You can really create some beautiful looks with a nice tiny little palette. All right, this is one of those palettes that's no longer available, but Too Faced has brought it back at least once, so maybe they'll bring it back again. But it is the Gingerbread Extra Spicy. Now, as I was going through all those fall palettes, I thought, which one was it that I really fell in love with the first time I saw it and knew it was going to be a hit? And it was the Extra Spicy. You know I love warm colors, and I loved this pop of kind of fuchsia in here. I loved this unique shade that just is a little bit pink, a little bit brown, and then I knew I could get enough depth here. I loved the shimmer shades that they put in here. This shade was the only one that I was like, I don't really have to love that one, but everything else just absolutely loved. And I have used this palette, I think, by far the most out of all of the collection of fall palettes. Going back to Natasha Denona, I know this will come as no surprise, but this was one of the few of her larger kind of midi palettes that when I first saw it online, I knew I had to have it. And that is the Retro palette. Yep, there's that kind of pinky burgundy with a little bit of some kind of peachy tones. I have enjoyed this palette so much, but from the first time I saw pictures, I just knew it was going to be a love for me, and it has not disappointed. Now, the eyeshadow brand that for me started the whole palette craze, I think in the beauty industry, let's be honest, was Urban Decay. I feel like they have some work to do because I haven't really loved a lot of their recent releases, but there were 2 that when I first saw them, I got so excited. One of them, I actually had emailed Urban Decay like a year and a half before, giving them the idea for this palette. I was gonna call it Naked Fire. They came out with Naked Heat, and I was like, that's my idea. That was my idea. Yeah, anyway, I love this color story. So how could I not include this, right? If I sent them an email saying, this is the kind of color scheme you should do, I mean, how would I not fall in love with it the first time I saw it? But this whole gradation of colors, I loved the depth with the slightly purpley tone, the deep kind of rusty red, everything in between. This was an immediate love, and I still absolutely love this palette. The other one, if you put on your thinking cap, I'm sure many of you could probably pick out the other Urban Decay Naked palette that I love, and that's the Naked Cherry. From the packaging, I just remembered thinking, oh my word, they have done an amazing job. And then I opened it up and just fell in love with the color spectrum, with the light kind of peachy tones and pinks into those pinks and deep. I love this shade. I think this is just so nice. And I know these shades can be intimidating for so many, but I felt like with all of these right here that I would be able to figure out a way to make these work, and I have. Now, I do have videos with looks on almost all of these palettes, so I'll try to link those down below. Now, the last 2 palettes, and we got to wrap this up here, might be a surprise, maybe not. The first one is from Huda Beauty, and I haven't used this in a while on camera, but this is the Rose Gold Remastered Apparently she released this the first time and there were some formulation issues. People didn't like it. She went back and reformulated. And oh my goodness, when I first saw this in Sephora, I thought, I don't understand why people don't like this. This is beautiful. Then I started swatching some of these shades up here. I mean, look at that. It's like liquid metal. Oh my word. And then we've got this bright red, but it's not an off-putting red. We've got this beautiful raspberry shade and then plenty of neutrals and all of these wonderful metallic shades. Yeah, you knew it had to be love. All right, the final palette is actually from the drugstore. And I had a couple from the drugstore that I was on the fence about including, but this one, I remember when I got it in the mail and I opened it up because it was a surprise. Online, I thought, oh, I'm not sure if I'm gonna like that. And I opened it up when I got it and I thought, I'm gonna love this palette. And I do. And it is the LA Girl Pro Mastery eyeshadow palette. I know, got more of those pink tones, right? But there are also neutrals in here. I have found this to be such a versatile palette, and the formulation on these shadows is wonderful. I've actually used this palette for a full face palette. I've used like this color as blush, this color as bronzer. So I have gotten so much use out of this palette. And this is one that you can get on sale for under $15. So an immediate love that I still absolutely enjoy. All right, so we have come to the end of my pile of products. So as you think back of similar themes that you saw, yes, I love those rosy toned eyeshadows and those rosy nude lipsticks, but overall, as I'm looking, even in the cheek products, something that I discovered by doing this is I am really drawn to shimmery, sparkly things. So I know it's a girl thing apparently, but that is what my particular eye is drawn to. I love girly looking things as well. So when you see packaging like this, I'm just right on it. So I hope that you enjoyed this video, that it was fun for you. Any of the products that are still available, I will list and link in the description box below, along with videos using the various products and eyeshadow palettes. I have a lot of 3 looks, 1 palette videos, so I'll link those down below. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.